Rashan Gary didn't even make the Pro Bowl last year. He was seen as one of the biggest snubs all year, as in 2021, he had the third highest pass rush win rate in the entire league. And his 9.5 sacks doesn't do justice to just how often he was in the backfield, causing mayhem as he constantly pressured quarterbacks all year long and was a major contributor in the run game as well. And it also doesn't show how much he meant to this Packers defense, as he stepped up huge when Zadarius Smith came down with an injury in week 1. He was a developmental pick for the Packers out of the University of Michigan, and at the ripe age of 24, going into his 4th season in the NFL, he's looking to have his biggest year yet. And this is why I think the Pro Bowl snub from last year is not only going to be a Pro Bowl player, but he's going to be an All-Pro select in the 2022 season. And before we cover his game and look at some of the plays from last season, we need some context as to why this shouldn't be a surprise to people, as this was a very predictable arc for his career. And outside of Packers fans, he's widely been seen so far as underwhelming and even a bust, as he was a 12th overall pick. But Gary was a project player. But he's a project player in comparison to someone who has a 200 IQ beginning to study the field of astrophysics. Not an easy field to get into, but has all the tools to be very successful in the field and will be great if given time. Just like a human at 6'5", 277 pounds, is set up to be a great premier pass rusher in the NFL with time, especially when he's seen as a freak of nature in a game of athletic freaks. Rashan Gary ran a 4.57 40 at the combine, which is the fastest in the last 2.5 decades for someone weighing over 275 pounds, and makes him only one of 3 people in that time period to run under 4.65. And his 38-inch vertical is better than any quarterback he's going to be chasing down, and also a better vertical jump than Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Sky Moore, George Pickens, Jahan Dotson, and Tyquan Thornton posted in this year's combine at 277 pounds. And I say all this because with that context in mind, let's see how it finally started translating to the field last season, as his football skills started to match his physical dominance. And shout out to Fear Jair for these clips, as we still don't have access to the All 22 from last season with the new update from NFL Plus Premium. But as recently as today, I got a connection to some coaches' film. So thank you so much for sticking with me. But with all that being said, let's get into Rashan Gary's game. And so how does Rashan Gary use his insane athletic ability on the field? Well, we see it on a play like this. He uses his 4.57 40 to convert speed to power. Boom, right here. Najee Harris is supposed to be chipping on this play, but he's getting right into the lineman's chest, so he has nothing to be able to do on this play. And I know we talked about physics earlier on in this video, but this is just simple geometry. Just look at the leverage that Rashan Gary's posing on this play. And this puts the lineman in such a disadvantageous spot, as he's getting pushed right back into the quarterback. And now that you're getting close to the quarterback, how do you get him to the ground? And the answer is by any means necessary. Use some of your vertical leap to go over the lineman, grab the quarterback by the back, and bring him down to the ground. By any means necessary, and then it's see ball, get ball. Converting speed to power, and then finish it off by any means necessary. And Rashan Gary only got better as the season went on. He had a dominant performance in his last game against the 49ers. This is him going up against Tom Compton, 315 pounds, who only gave up 4 sacks all season long. The first thing you have to do, boom, win at the point of contact. He uses his right arm to stab, and now he's going to use his leverage to start driving backwards. And as a lineman, this is not the position you want to be in. On your back foot, falling backwards, and since Gary's doing this all with his right hand, keeping his left arm free, he's going to be able to rip in at any point. And we see where Jimmy G's depth's at right here, and Rashan Gary doesn't want to go anywhere past that, so he knows he has to start bending this in now as to not give Garoppolo a lane to step up. And since the lineman's so out of position and he has a free hand, he knows his time is now to throw him to the side, get the rip on the inside, and start looking for the ball. Jimmy G does a good job protecting it, but now he's just going to go for a little piggyback ride, get him to the ball for his first sack of the game. And it's even more impressive in real time when you see how much pressure he puts on quarterbacks where they have really no opportunity to throw the ball before he's right in the backfield. And this is the same game, just a different rep, but we're going to see how his athletic ability is starting to match his technically sound play, as again, he's going to win at the point of contact, stabbing with his right arm, and with his left arm, he's going to try and neutralize it, so now the lineman's not only getting pushed back again, but Tom Compton doesn't have a good grasp on him with either arm. His left arm's on the outside of him, and his right arm's being neutralized by Rashan Gary, again, being able to get that bend, keeping that left arm free, rip onto the inside, and getting his second sack of the game. But Gary knows to be an elite pass rusher in the league, you can't be a one-trick pony. So later in the game, when he already knows that Tom Compton's seen his bull rush a few times, he's going to go attack the outside, and look at the base that Tom Compton's going to put up. He knows he's been thrown back a couple times. Look how wide his base is right here. Rashan Gary's going to go for the stab again, but knowing that he still has this 4.57 speed, and Tom Compton's so anchored in getting ready for this bull rush, Gary knows that he can still get the bend, not go past Jimmy G, and get around the edge just with speed. This isn't speed to power, this is just raw speed, and this isn't going to show up on the stat sheet as a sack, but again, seeing how much pressure he puts on quarterbacks. And becoming a more technically sound pass rusher is how he was able to do this all season long against any lineman he went up against. But we're going to start to see how he was a huge impact in the run game as well, and how his athletic ability has allowed him to thrive, and why the Packers have such a great run defense. So when we see on a play like this, Rashan Gary coming off the right edge, the lineman's always looking for a numbers advantage. So as the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to run a stretch play out of pistol to the left, what they're going to do to get a numbers advantage is leave him unblocked, thinking that he's not going to be able to make a play on the ball, so they're going to have numbers to the field. And as his football IQ improves, he notices that he's not going to be blocked on this play. He recognizes run the whole way. So he's going to scrape down the line coming right off the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive linemen's butts and play cleanup duty. And boy, does he ever. And the Packers defensive line on the field does a great job turning the running back in, but Rashan Gary's athletic ability allows the running back not to be able to cut back, and he lays a punishing hit to clean up. And so when the Steelers saw that the pass rush was coming in so fast, how do you attack overly aggressive defensive ends when you're losing? Well, you run a draw play. And the point of the draw play is to get the defensive ends up the field too far, overly commit, and then be able to hand a ball off and run right underneath them. But Rashan Gary on the top of your screen right now is able to win at the point of contact with ease. He sees the run right here and uses athletic ability to start behind Najee Harris to track him down and stop him for a minimal gain. And this is a better angle of the same play, but watch how fast he recognizes run, able to win at the point of contact, shuck off the lineman, and make a play on Najee Harris. And this is a similar play to what we saw with the Steelers on their outside stretch. Rashan Gary's going to be left unblocked again, but the difference here is Joe Burrow is more of a mobile quarterback, so Rashan Gary has to be aware of that as he's getting left unblocked. So as this play goes on, there's going to be a critical moment when Rashan Gary gets left unblocked, and it's going to be right at the point of contact where the handoff comes in. And right here, Rashan Gary has to make a decision. He can either play that scraping role, but he also has to be aware that Joe Burrow can do a play-action boot, so he has to be ready for this. And so he's going to attack where Joe Burrow isn't going to be able to get up the field, but as soon as he sees that Joe Burrow doesn't have the ball and he handed off to Joe Mixon instead, he's going to have to go get the ball. And Joe Mixon, this is what this play is set up for, wash everyone to the left and look for the cutback lanes on the right. And Joe Mixon's mouth has to be watering as he sees this enormous cutback lane where it's more than likely going to be him one-on-one with the safety, and this could be a huge play. And let's switch over to this angle just to get a better view of how massive this hole is. But Rashan Gary, like we mentioned at the beginning of this video and all throughout, is an athletic freak, and not many people would be able to successfully bite on the play action fake and be in good position to stop the play action boot, and also get back in position on one of the league's best running backs to trip him up and get a tackle for no gain. So Rashan Gary really stops two plays in one here, and even though he's slightly undisciplined and bites the play action fake, his athletic ability allows him to still make a play on the ball. And on a 3rd and 1 play, Rashan Gary is going to be on the strong side of the field, and Travis Kelce and the fullback are both going to try and get a piece of him. He's able to evade both, scrape down the line, and make a play, causing a 4th and 1. And so not only teams are worried about Rashan Gary in the passing game, but they do whatever they can to get him out of the run game. So even bring a tight end in motion, get a full head of steam to run up and try and make a block on Rashan Gary. And this tight end with a full head of steam and Rashan Gary at a dead standstill is going to absolutely eat it, plug the hole, and get the running back for a loss. And so on a lot of these plays, we see teams trying to run away from Rashan Gary, but that's not always going to be possible. You're going to have to test him at some points, but it's more than likely going to be the same result. And here, he's going to do a really good job locking up the lineman and being able to read where Antonio Gibson's going to go. He wins at the point of contact, or it's about even, but he's going to be able to rip into the inside or the outside, depending on where Antonio Gibson takes this ball. And actually, it's a play action, and Rashan Gary realizes that right about now. So not only is he in a great position for the run, recognizes pass, able to rip to the outside, and get the fumble on Heineke. So yes, I did trick you guys a little bit on that one, but they were also trying to trick Rashan Gary, but they couldn't. He's in a great position for the run, sees pass, still able to get to the quarterback and be a huge impact player. And just our winding examples of what his diversity is, he can do at 277 pounds. You can put him on inside stunts. He has a big enough body to deal with interior offensive linemen, and he has speed that's just going to be able to win right on the spot. And going up against Andrew Whitworth, one of the most technically sound guys, he's just too athletic for him, being able to get at Stafford. And just the relentless pursuit of the football that he shows on a day-to-day basis, game in and game out, is why I think he's going to be an all-pro type player in 2022. So this is why this project player is no longer a project. And he's only going to get better as he is now the full-time starter for the Packers, and is why he's going to be seen as the league as one of the best pass rushers we have in the game, and why I think he'll earn all-pro honors this coming season. This might be a surprise to some, but Packers fans who knew what they were getting when they saw this process begin 4 years ago, it's time to start reaping the benefits for being so patient. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like this video if you like videos like these. Comment down below what you think about Rashan Gary and his game, and how many sacks or how impactful he's going to be to the Packers this coming season. And make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily NFL content. Thank you guys so much for watching, but that's going to be all I have for you today. But as always, I will see you all tomorrow. Peace!